Debt just hit the roof. It's like deja vu, and that's probably because it has happened many times before as well. The United States is again standing at a point of running out of money, and each year, just before the deadline, it somehow manages to stay afloat. After all, how can the world's largest economy fall short of funds? Well, it's not that simple either. The debt ceiling is basically a legal limit. It sets the amount of money the government can borrow to pay its bills. This could be for paying the employees, social security, as well as tax refunds. The government takes in revenue from taxes and other streams like customs duties. But every year it spends more than it takes in. In case the government needs more money, then a formal voting is initiated to either raise the limit or suspend it completely. The cap currently stands at roughly $31.4 trillion. The problem is that this limit was breached in January. So the Treasury Department stepped in and used its extraordinary measures to hand out cash to the government. But that does not end the crisis. The money borrowed above the set limit needs to get a formal approval by the Congress. And this is where the actual issue has started. The picture on your screens perfectly describes the situation right now. The President, the Vice President, the House Speaker, and the Senate Majority Leader, they all gathered to discuss the road ahead. Joe Biden has even shortened his upcoming Asia tour to address this issue, and he is confident in reaching the deal to avert default. So what happens if debt ceiling is not raised? In immediate terms, the salaries won't be paid of federal and military employees. Social security checks will be put on hold as well. But in the broader sense, it would cause major economic damage. US has high chances of slipping into a recession. A crisis like this could mean access to credit could be made more difficult. Some economists are also warning of mass layoffs. The collapse could even play into China's favor. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has drawn the red line. She says if the debt limit is not raised by the 1st of June, then day-to-day obligations will also be hindered. Now, 1st of June that she mentions, that date is 2 weeks from now. For more on this, we are being joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani from New York. Susan, Biden mentioned before leaving for Japan that he is confident in closing the negotiations and reaching a deal to avert default on the debt ceiling. Is it just a repeat of what we've seen in the past as well in the United States, that a deal for averting the debt default was always on the cards?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And historically, the two parties do use the debt ceiling to negotiate spending. But I think it was important for President Biden to make these statements upon leaving because of the international ramifications that this issue will have ultimately, as you alluded to some of them. So he wanted the confidence to be there. Remember, it's not just about the United States. You have a ripple effect on the global economy if the United States isn't able to meet its obligations. And so, there was policy involved in making that speech internationally, on the one hand, before leaving for Japan, and on the other hand, for his domestic audience. Remember, he was extremely criticized, not only by Kevin McCarthy, who said that he should actually make his trip shorter, but other Republicans even went as far as saying that he should cancel his trip and focus on America's problems and the American people. So, while there has been signs that the Democrats will ultimately cut some spending, it was important for him, for the optics of it, to make that statement before leaving for Japan.
Right. Optics definitely being the operative word there. Thank you so much, Susan. But stay with us. We'll be back with you for more updates on the next story.